If the government shuts down, do you get a paycheck?
No, we don't get a paycheck. And then when they bring the government back, say like they bring everybody back after the federal workers, they get their money. We get nothing.
We get nothing. Yes, the government shutdown is just days away. And while Republicans continue to grandstand and fail on supporting their Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, the big question is if and when the government does shut down, who's gonna get money, who's gonna get paid, and who won't? Well, that right there was Willie Jo Price, who's worked at the cafeteria in the Library of Congress for 42 years. So she's seen some shutdowns. And she spoke with ABC News about what happens to workers like herself, federal contractors, workers on the Hill, when the government shuts down. Take a look.
We're contractors for the government. And when the government shuts down, we don't have, backup sources, where when the government shuts down, the company doesn't pay us for being off. And then they don't want us to use it said like I got a little late vacation, but they don't even want us to use that. So we don't have anything. And then like the last government shutdown, we all applied for unemployment. But by the time we applied for the unemployment, we were back at work. And so we never got the unemployment. So we had to go without. They don't care about us. When I say us, it's myself as a food service worker, a person that cleans, everybody that's a contractor for the government. We all suffer from whatever the decisions that everybody else make.
Do you worry that you won't be able to pay your bills by the end of the month if Congress doesn't act?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I worry about that.
So, right, 42 years working on the Hill, that's Willie Jo Price, putting a human face on this potential imminent shutdown. Other things that could be at risk are basic benefit services like SNAP, WIC, Head Start, although apparently those are funded through October. So if you do receive those, make sure you still seek them out and make sure you get them should the government shut down. But that just gives you a real human face. And I want to put maybe a much less human face on this shutdown by talking about who does get paid if the government stops. That would be Congress. Yeah, the very people who vote to shut down the government will continue to receive a check. However, as a gesture, some of them symbolically delay being paid, but actually, constitutionally, you guys, we have to keep on paying senators and congresspeople, even though they're the ones who got us in this mess in the first place. So it's important to know members of the House and Senate are entitled to continue collecting their salaries regardless of what happens. That's because their paychecks are considered permanent appropriations. Oh, that's fun. By law, members of Congress are not allowed to alter their pay for a current session, although they are allowed to change the salaries of future Congresses, which is very interesting. So I wanted to kick it to you guys. In fact, we need to amend the Constitution if you ever wanted to not pay a congressperson during a government shutdown. Wild how that is part of permanent appropriations when funding the government and these critical jobs. No, we got to vote on that every 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half.
It's the way they operate, and we see this every few years. We see it every time. There's a cycle of shut down the government, not shut down the government. Let's go to the deadline, maybe, maybe not. Who's the one that's holding up this time? Oh, it's their fault. No, it's actually our fault. As a matter of fact, it's one aspect of this particular party's fault. Whichever way it is, it's the same cycle over and over and over again, and it holds people hostage. And then these folks, like, what was her name, Ruby at the first? I didn't catch her name at the beginning. The woman,
yeah, Willie Jo.
Willie Jo. For 43 years working on the Hill. So she's been working on the Hill in our like castles that are in federal government buildings. She should never have to worry about paying bills at the end of the month, ever. Whatever that salary is, I don't know. Unless she's trying to buy boats and jets and stuff that most people can't afford, she should never be sitting there and worried about whether or not she's gonna pay bills at the end of the month. She's been there for 43 years. So we just lost Dianne Feinstein, who's the longest serving female senator of all time, and she was there until she passed away. She was never worried about money. She's been there forever. Part of the reasons why she never worried about money is because she's been there forever. So why is it Senator Feinstein, who takes August off every year, like every other elected official in federal government, takes it off every year, has no worries about whether or not she's gonna make her bills at the end of August, ever. Do you know why they take August off? take August off because it was too hot before for them to be sitting in there all the time and damn near dying. Now that it's 2023 and there's this thing called air conditioning, we still go through the same process of allowing people to take time off work and they're never worried about a paycheck. I don't know if you're getting to Brandon Williams. If you are, stop me. But this guy will not, okay, we will later. But they're talking about this in ways that are so outlandish and so far from normalcy. They see someone like this woman sitting there worried about paying her bills and they don't have a second thought. They're like, well, she should probably just sell her boat, because that's what I would have to do. And this is the thought. This is who our representatives are. They don't represent us because they don't know us.
It's interesting to me that the people who are going to get paid for working don't want to pay the people. I'm talking about reparations. They don't want to give black people money for the work that they did and building this country, but they feel entitled to receive money while they chill. I think we need a wash. This American government is not only a laughingstock worldwide, it is just embarrassing for us. And those of you who call yourselves patriots, who are like telling me that I should go back to whatever country, which also belongs to the United States, examine your lives, because many of you who are really riding for these people who could care less about your well-being, they don't give a damn. The fact that they can take a break and you are gonna suffer, I say we see GoFundMe's set up for a bunch of foolishness. Let's set up a GoFundMe for Willie Joe and those workers if that happens, because that lady looked very worried about the fact that this could happen.
And who else depends on her is worried about it too. Sorry, Fran.
No, and she's been through it before. She said right there, look, we applied for, it was 34 days, I believe, the last shutdown under Trump. We applied for unemployment, and by the time we got it approved, we were back to work, but we didn't get that month paid for. So what happens, right? And these are the shenanigans. You've got Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Greene trying to, reduce the salaries for the Department of Defense heads to $1 for Lloyd Austin. Like, what are you doing actually? No, they're playing games with people's lives. Now, here's what's interesting though, because even Congress people aren't really that clued into the fact that, they still get money no matter whether they shut down the government. There's no way for them to not get money, and I'm gonna go into that. But as a symbol, in previous shutdowns, let's go to graphic 2, many members of the House and Senate have said they are donating their pay to charity, or more commonly asked that it be withheld for the duration of the shutdown. In other words, I'm gonna get it later. Senator Ted Cruz said he would have his pay withheld this time around, asked for his plans. Senator John Cornyn cited the legal prohibition on eliminating pay, but said he would support a change to block all congressional pay during a shutdown. Okay, let's see if you'll make good on that, because someone's got a proposal. But here was the best part, because there's a freshman Republican from New York. His name is Brandon Williams. JR alluded to him. He didn't get the memo that apparently you're not really supposed to like willingly accept your salary. Here he was on C-SPAN being asked whether he would forego his salary for this time.
Will you take pay if the government shuts down?
I'm honestly not sure how that works.
Well, you still get money. The members of Congress get paid. The Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said so on the floor yesterday. So will you accept that pay?
I will. I am not independently wealthy, and we are like any other family. We want to stay focused on the job and not be manipulated by our own financial circumstance to do what's right for America. I assume that's why that's in place.
Okay, so just a fact check on Brandon Williams. He is a former Wall Street guy who is also a tech investor. He is worth something like disclosed $3 million, which is little, but apparently it's more like 8 million. The guy's got money, he's independently wealthy. So he said, no, he would take it, but then he immediately reversed it when he realized that that wasn't the thing to do. Oh, you're supposed to not take the money. And then he tweeted this, I shouldn't do interviews before having my coffee in the morning. Hey, look at this guy, whoopsies. I mean, I'll get the money later. Because again, they're gonna get the money one way or another. And even if they donate to charities, we all know their donations to charities are basically tax write-offs. They'll probably donate to their friends. It'll probably be refunneled through dark money into their very own coffers, who knows? Lastly on this though, there is a representative, a Democrat who's proposing no, you do not get paid during this time. Angie Craig from Minnesota. She's calling this new act, "My constituents can't afford rebellious tantrums. Handle your shutdown act," also known as the McCarthy Act, because that's what the acronym is. According to the bill, the paycheck of each member of Congress would temporarily cut 1 day's worth of pay for every day the government is out of operation. Now that sounds tight, that sounds great, let's do that. Will Cornyn vote for that?
No.
But here's the deal, they still get paid, you guys, because let's go to this. If ultimately it passes, members of Congress would receive the full amount that was deducted from their paychecks at the end of the congressional session. So yeah, it would be later, but again, there is literally no legal way other than amending the Constitution to prevent, like, I don't understand how we can hold them accountable if they always get paid no matter what. Even if they decide to shut down the government and take down like SNAP benefits, WIC benefits, we're talking, these are the people who care about moms and families. You're gonna take away food benefits, literally take food out of babies' mouths. Sure,
that's
why
the
not?
plan. But this is the thing also, there, as these rich folks talk about missing their money and everything, again, back to the same moment from the beginning. After that month is up, or however many 34 days it happened last time, the bills have to get paid and nobody's reimbursing for that time. Like, well, you weren't at work. These folks get their money back, money that many of them don't even need, but they'll get it right back because the only people that can change these rules in these situations are the people that are benefiting from it. So if you're sitting on your boat and then someone says, hey, this is a good thing. If you get rid of your boat and sacrifice some things, other people benefit. And they go, well, only reason I got my boat and all these things I got is because I make sure that other people don't benefit so that I can. That's how this works. Why would I reverse it? Why would I reverse it? So what is it that's gonna change that? Is enough people paying enough attention and maybe getting other folks in office that would do something like this. But by the time November 7th rolls around, when Glenn Youngkin has his opportunity to possibly be the next Republican that loses to Donald Trump, then the next thing is, if we waited that long, they'll look up and then say, well, nobody's thinking about this anymore. We're now voting about gender affirming bathrooms, or now we're voting about all these other things that we've distracted you from again. No one remembers the politics of a government shutdown because they do it around this time, then later start talking about how it just never happened. And the people who are still suffering from it when their car payments are 3 behind and whatever else has happened to them, nobody cares, nobody cares.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.